Hey guys! So today I am going to be sharing with you probably one of my most exciting project pan finales of my entire YouTube career. I am so excited to share these updates with you. Today it's time to wrap up my quarter one project pan for 2023. This year I am doing my project pan a bit more quarterly, whereas in the past I've just done a year-long project. I feel like this will be a good way to just keep things fresh, keep myself from burning out on using the same products all year long. So I'm going to be ending this project pan that I've been doing, and I'm likely going to be picking an entirely new set of items to work on for quarter two. So that video will be coming up in about a week or so. I also wanted to give myself about a week in between ending this project and starting the next quarter's project, just to give myself a chance to, not be actively panning anything and just have some fun, just see what I'm naturally reaching for in order to decide what products I want to start working on next. So let me go ahead and give you a quick preview of what is to come in this video. So as you know, I have been working on 10 products at a time. 4 of those products are empty. I also hit a new pan this month. And then I have 2 other products that are pretty much finished. Basically that means that I hit my goal on 7 out of 10 items, which I think is pretty darn good. Really excited to share all my empties with you. Some of these things I wasn't sure if I'd be able to finish by this finale, so I'm just really excited. Let's go ahead and get on into the updates. So I'll start with a couple of empties that you might have already seen in my most recent empties video, but I did finish my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless filter. I did have just the mini of this in the shade Too Fair. And this was actually a lot quicker to pan than I was expecting. I started working on it actively at the beginning of January, and at that time I wasn't really sure how much was left, but I thought it was mostly full, but I think I actually only had about half of it remaining at that point, so it took me just about 3 months to finish it off from there. I did take out the stopper so I could scrape everything out of there, and the main way that I used this was I mixed it with my foundation, so I wasn't using it all over the face every use. I was more so just dotting it around on targeted areas of the face, and that allowed me to finish it up completely. So I'm really happy to have this done. It's always especially satisfying to see high-end products being emptied because I just like knowing I got my money's worth. So really glad to be done with that. I also finished my Kosas Revealer Concealer. This was another one I wasn't sure if I would be able to finish it in time for this quarter one ending, but this one is finished as well. I was able to speed up the process of panning this a little bit by wearing it as a foundation. I would mix a couple drops of this with some of the Glow Recipe Dewdrops, and that made a gorgeous foundation. I really enjoyed wearing it that way. So if I had just stuck to using this as a concealer, like an under eye concealer, probably would have taken me a lot longer to finish it, but I'm glad I was able to finish it before it expired. And I feel like I got pretty lucky with this product because I had it open for over a year, I think a year and 3 or 4 months, and it didn't expire. The smell didn't get weird or anything. It didn't get that gross cheese smell that I've heard other people describe, so I'm glad that I was able to finish that up before it turned on me. I also finished my other Kosas product that I've been working on. This is the Cloud Set Powder, and take a look at that beautiful empty pan. I'm so happy to have this finished. I didn't end up having to repress it or anything because the pan is it's actually not a metal pan. I think it's made of terracotta or something because it's a baked product. So that pan that it sits on is actually pretty much level with this outer packaging. So I was able to reach everything. Once I got towards the very outer edges, I was mainly just using it as a powder to set my eyeshadow primer, so I would just use a small eyeshadow brush to pick it up, and that is done. Today was the last day that I used this, and I think it is I might be able to scrape out a little bit more from those ridges, but I don't even know if that would be worth it, because I really don't think there's much in there at all. So that is 2 Kosas empties in 1 month. I think that's pretty awesome. So while we're talking about all the empties, I'll go ahead and share this 4th true empty that I have here. So this is the Urban Decay lip pencil in Manic. This is finished. Look at how tiny it is. This I did use up much more quickly than I normally would use up a lip pencil. You'll see in the progress photos, I used up a ton since this is where I was a month ago. This is where we are now that it's empty. So I used up a big chunk of it. I was really able to pan this a lot quicker because I was using it as a blush, which is a great way to use up older lip pencils that you're just trying to finish up. It definitely makes the process go a lot faster. So if it's like your favorite lip pencil of all time, you might not want to use it up that quickly, but because it's a lip liner, it had really good staying power on the cheeks as well. And to use it as a blush, I would just swatch it on the back of my hand and then pick it up with a brush. So that is finished. This I've had for such a long time, so really glad to have it finished. It was also just a color that I wasn't wearing very often on my lips, so glad I was able to find another use for it and get it moved out. So now let's talk about a couple of products that are not technically 100% finished, but they are, like, they might as well be. So first we have my Becca highlighter in Champagne Pop. So this I ended up using up until like the last week of March. I had a big pan in there. I had already repressed it as well, so it was a really small amount of highlighter left, and I decided to go ahead and finish it off. I would scrape the rest out and mix it in with some body lotion just to get those last bits finished. So this is all I have left of that body lotion mixture. I think I'll probably use this a lot more once the weather gets a little bit warmer, and I mean, today I'm wearing a tank top, but I'm also staying inside. I guess, like, actually, you know what, I should go ahead and put some of this on. But I do think I'll wear this a lot more in the summer once I'm wearing like a lot more tank tops and shorts and dresses and stuff. But it just gives a nice subtle glow to the skin. I just mixed it with my regular body lotion, and I also filmed a short of that process if you want to see that too. But that is all I have left of the Becca highlighter. I think that'll be done within the next couple of months. So now that this pan is empty, I ended up using it to make a cream Franken blush. And so that brings me to my next product that I sort of finished, which is my CoverGirl lipstick in the shade Honeyed Bloom. So earlier this month I had completely used it up, I'd leveled it out, I couldn't twist up any more product. So what I did was I just went ahead and scooped out all the last bits that were down in there, and I put it in this Becca highlighter pan, and I wanted to try making it a glowy blush, and I also wanted to find a use for this Oma Beauty highlight stick here. So this is the dual-ended contour and highlight stick. I've been trying to pan the contour side, but I just don't really use the highlighter side of this very often. So I ended up just slicing off the top of this highlighter stick and mixing it in with that lipstick. I used a hairdryer to heat it up and melt it, which ended up getting very messy because my hairdryer is so powerful that it it ended up like spilling out of the pan. So it was a little bit messy, but once it all solidified, it has been very usable. So that is what I am left with there now, which it actually kind of looks like a lot of product. I feel like this is going to take me a little while to actually finish up all of this. So this is what that color looks like. Really pretty glowy blush. Yeah, I would never guess that that was made out of lipstick and highlighter. But yeah, I'm really happy with how that turned out. I've already used it several times, and I'm not sure if I'm going to put this in my next project pan or not. I'll have to think about that, but hopefully that doesn't take me too long to finish up. I guess I could also use it on my lips if I wanted to. So the CoverGirl lipstick and my Becca highlighter, basically empty, but I'm just working on finishing up those last bits. So next let's talk about my Oma contour stick. My goal with this was to use up half of what I started with at the beginning of the year. It looks pretty small, I would say, especially compared to what we started with. So here's where we are, and you can see this arrow right here is marking where that halfway point is, where that goal point would be, and I haven't fully made it there yet. I think like one more month of use would get me there. But I mean, all in all, if you look at where we started, I have used up a lot of this, so I feel pretty good about that. I'll probably take a little break from panning this. I'll probably not put it into my next quarter's project immediately because I would just like to focus on some other bronzers right now, but I have really enjoyed working on this and I'm glad to see so much progress. I feel like it's one of those things that just was sitting in my collection, staying at about the same level of usage for like years. So it's nice to finally see some progress on that. And I do think that at some point this year I will get to that goal point that I was aiming for. So a couple products that I have not met my goal on. First up is this Nude by Nature lip gloss in the shade Tea Rose. So I talked about this in my last project pan update, and I had mentioned in that video that I've noticed this is one of those lip products that sort of tickles the back of my throat a little bit. And I've noticed that my whole life with just certain lip products. Sometimes it's lip balms, lip glosses, lipsticks. Usually I don't think much of it, but a few people said that that could be an allergic reaction. I mean, I'm not convinced that it is because it doesn't really feel like an allergic reaction, but either way, if it's bothering my throat or irritating my throat at all, it's probably not something that I want to be using. Also, normally lip glosses, whenever I put a lip gloss in my project pan, I have no problem reaching for it. Usually I'm, reapplying it multiple times a day, like just, enjoying using it. But this was such a chore to use for some reason, partially because of that back of the throat tingle issue, but also I just really don't like the smell of this. It's like a weirdly citrusy scent that I just don't really love in a lip gloss. So I've decided to just go ahead and declutter this. I don't think it's something that I want to keep forcing myself to use when I have other lip glosses that I would prefer to use. So that is gonna go. I actually didn't use this at all in March. After I read your comments, I was like, maybe I should not use this just in case it is an allergic reaction. So no progress there. I really have made hardly any progress on this year, so I'm just going to move on and work on some of my other lip glosses next. And then the other product that I did not meet my goal on was the Milani Cream Blush in the shade Nude Kiss. My goal is just to hit pan on this at some point this year. I really would just like to start seeing more pans in my blush collection because I currently don't have any. So I have been using this, but probably not enough to see a ton of progress. I mean, you can definitely see there's a dip there. I am wearing this today. I actually layered it under the e.l.f. Primer Infused Blush, this peachy blush that I have from e.l.f. Actually makes a really pretty combo, those two. I'm not sure if I'm going to roll this over into my Q2 project yet either. I felt like this is one of my favorite cream blushes, as you know, but for some reason, once I started trying to actively pan it, I didn't feel as excited to use it. So maybe that's a sign that I should maybe just stop working on this for now. That could also be because I was also using those two lip products, the lip liner and the lipstick, as blushes as well. So it's almost like I had 3 blushes in my project pan at once. I think for now I am going to take a little bit of a break from panning this, but I will definitely come back to it at some point this year. And I don't think I'm that far from hitting pan, but it's hard to say. I mean, you can kind of see the pan since it's clear packaging. It does look like kind of a deep pan, but if any of you have hit pan on this cream blush, how long did it take you? Do you think I'm close? Or do I have a long way to go? Let me know. The final product, I wanted to save another exciting one for last. So this is the ColourPop Miss Bliss palette. This year I am really just trying to hit pan in more eyeshadow palettes. So what I've been doing is just having an eyeshadow palette in my project pan and just trying to hit pan on one shade. And then once I hit pan on a shade, I roll it out. So I've actually been doing that pretty consistently. Like every month I put in a new palette and I hit pan on something. So I used this palette a ton in March, and actually just the other day I finally hit pan on this shade right here, Palo Santo, and that was the shade that I was expecting to hit pan on. That was the one I had like the biggest dip in, and it took me a lot longer than I thought it would to finally hit pan on that, because at the start of the month when I first rolled this in, I thought it would only take me like 2 or 3 uses because it was already such a big dip, but it actually took me almost the entire month. I wasn't sure if I would be able to show you a pan in this finale or not because I literally just hit pan like 2 days ago. So I used it, most of the time I used it as an inner corner highlight. I also used it all over the lid, and I used a lot of the other shades in this palette as well this month. I did quite a few looks like just using this, but I love seeing that new little shiny pan. So this, of course, will be rolled out as well along with all these other products, but I will be introducing a new palette to work on in the next quarter. So those are all 10 of the items that I was working on throughout March. And if we count the CoverGirl lipstick and the Becca highlighter, I finished 6 out of 10 products in March, which is probably one of my best months of panning ever. And then I also hit a new pan. So that is 7 out of 10 products that I hit my goal. And then we have one Declutter, that lip gloss, which, you know, kind of a bummer, but at the same time, I'm glad that I was able to figure out that this is just not the product for me. And then a couple more that I did make some progress on, but didn't quite meet my goal. So, you know, we have the whole rest of the year to work on these as well, but I'm really excited. I wasn't expecting to have this many things done in this finale, but it just feels good to get these things rolled out of my collection. But I'm looking forward to taking this next week to just explore my collection, see what I'm naturally gravitating towards when I don't have a set project pan going on. And then in about a week, or at the beginning, maybe the second week of April, I will announce my new project pan products. So stay tuned for that Q2 intro coming soon. But thank you all so much for hanging out today. I hope you had fun. If you did, be sure to give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. I also have a Patreon and a channel membership if you'd like to support my channel further. Otherwise, I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and I will talk to you again very soon in my next video. Bye.